Hello, everyone. I am Matt Williamson. Wasn't able to chat with you yesterday, so I promised I'd get you one for the weekend. Probably start recording another one on Monday. Maybe even mention, the games this weekend. There's some good ones coming up here, especially Ravens, Bills, etc., etc. But this podcast is one that is sort of like step one for digging into the off season. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a comment on every upcoming free agent on the Steelers roster expiring contracts, except quarterbacks. We're not talking quarterbacks. It's just an alphabetical list straight from the NFL. And here we go. Calvin Anderson. He's not special, but if he wants to come to camp and compete to be the swing tackle / fourth tackle, okay, but if somebody's interested and he doesn't come back, the world will continue to spin, and cut to the chase. There's going to be a handful of these guys that fit that exact bill. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to dig in super deep. I'd offer him this amount of dollars and we're going to haggle over $100,000 over Calvin Anderson. No, he's very replaceable. James Daniels. He's not going to be back, folks, but maybe he helps your comp game by signing elsewhere. Although I think the Steelers will probably sign more dollar amount than they let go. I like Daniels, but I think you're okay at guard, and you're probably not going to make that investment. I got the impression he really wasn't even at the facility all that much past his injury. So he's going to go, and I'm fine with it. He's okay. He's a good player. He's still younger than you think, but oh well. Naji Harris. I'm not bringing Naji back. Just cut to the chase here right now. It's not that he stinks, but he's going to want the Ramondre Stevenson-like contract, and maybe we'll get it. Maybe. It's such a good running back draft, which that's why I'm not bringing Naji back, because it's such a good running back draft. I also don't think he's a very good zone runner, which is what this offensive coordinator wants to do. So to me, Naji is an easy guy to let go, and that's fine. I mean, he's replaceable too. He does some good things. I'm not a Naji hater. He's hard to tackle. He's big and aggressive, but he's not fast. He's not a home run hitter. He's not a zone runner. He's older than you think, and he's taken a lot of wear and tear, and I think you can upgrade on him with even maybe a third-round pick. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how good this running back draft is. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA, head to BetOnline today and get on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, another one you might not even know was on the team. C.J. Henderson was a former early pick corner with a lot of ability and a lot of baggage. I wouldn't mind him being in camp. I would count on him for nothing. If you want a 1 year as cheap as possible contract, I'm fine with that. Unless there is more baggage there than I know, then, oh well, off you go. Maybe you don't. Certainly not even close to being guaranteed to making the team. But if you were in Latrobe, I wouldn't mind it. This is an interesting one to me, and an easy one, really, is Nate Herbig. You sign him. Maybe even do a 2-year deal. To me, he's like a much better version of BJ Finney as your interior swing guy. He can play 3 spots. He's not great. His brother's on the team. He's coming off an injury. He's not going to be expensive. I mean, could you get him at a 2-year, $7 million contract or something like that? It's about what he's signed, this last time around. Great. Stability. I can win with that guy, but he's not going to be a starter. That's fine. I think that's an easy one. Maybe even get that done like now. Boom, just lock that up so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Dante Jackson, bye. Sorry, not interested. You are not man capable enough. You're not big and physical enough for me. You're going to make some money. I am not giving you the money that you will probably get on the open market, which is not a ton, but it's going to be probably starter money. I am moving on from Dante Jackson, and really no hesitation there. Van Jefferson. Again, I could give you a very minimal contract and get you in camp and not even guarantee you a roster spot. And if the injuries happen or if you shine, although I think he is what he is, maybe you make the team and you're the fourth receiver. What if Calvin Austin gets hurt early in camp? But by no means you're counting on him for meaningful snaps. And more often than not, he probably signs elsewhere or late in the process. Like some of these guys are, I'm having these conversations with after the draft. Like if you're still out there in 2 months, give me a buzz. I'll give you the most team-friendly deal ever, and we'll bring you to camp and prove yourself or whatever. That's probably how I would handle DeMonte KZ as well. Certainly I'm not counting on him. He's older than you think. I would like that third safety to be highly slot capable and versatile. Not that KZ can't do those things, but again, we're just kind of rolling back roster clogger type guys that aren't difference makers, and I'm looking for more difference makers. But if it's June and you don't have a job, maybe we could get you to Latrobe. Same thing is true with Isaiah Loudermilk. I'm not big on the player. I would like a more impressive specimen. I thought he'd be further along in his career than he is now, so he probably just is what he is. Again, late in the process, if you want to come back at a very team-friendly 1-year deal, perhaps, and maybe you practice squad or make the roster as your last D lineman. Tyler Matakevich is also up in age, good special teamer. Maybe. I mean, I'm all for paying core special teams guys, but you're going to have Killebrew, you're going to have Hayward, you're going to have some guys that played a lot of snaps for you. Low priority. Again, very late in the process. A guy I like is Ryan McCollum. And we just mentioned Herbig. He could be your interior swing guy. But McCollum would cost you nothing. He's an EFA. He's not even a UFA. So you're going to bring him back. And same with Jeremiah Moon, who's also an exclusive rights free agent. These guys basically cost you nothing. They could still practice squad. Moon is somebody they like on special teams. And McCollum, I think, might be your J.C. Hassenhauer type guy. Maybe better than that with a little more guard capability too. You don't just throw them away because they are super cheap. Dan Moore is losing money at a semi-rapid rate, but I still probably am not bringing him back. He's left tackle only. I don't love that. I would say to him, go test free agency. That first week of stuff happens and no one's calling you. I'd consider bringing you back as a safety option. Certainly not guaranteeing you even the starting job. I probably want my 2 first-round picks as my starters. But you would be the first guy off the bench if one of them fails. But the dollars would have to be very right. And my guess is a starting left tackle is going to get paid well. Not great by his, he's not Jonathan Ogden. But he's going to make more than Chooks did a year ago, on the open market. So I highly, highly doubt he's back, and I can live with that. James Pierre is kind of a tough one, but I also think he's kind of an easy one in that I really like him as a special teamer. I can get out of a game with him in a pinch when he's active on game day at corner. League minimum 1-year deal all day long. But again, it might be post-draft before you have that conversation. There's a lot of those this year for the Steelers, probably including Mike Cole-Pruitt, who I would understand if they brought back at a similar deal to what he's making now. Not just because he's an Arthur Smith favorite, but that does carry weight. He's not a bad third tight end. This is also a very good tight end draft. I would hope that for more of a dynamic player, considering what his cost would be, which wouldn't be a ton, but it's still veteran money, you know. Again, I'd much rather talk to him post-draft, and maybe I already have that spot handled. Landon Roberts would be somewhat of a priority for me, because I think he's a tone setter. I think he's tough as could be. I want to blitz more next year, more on that later. I would love to give Roberts another deal, maybe at a 20% increase even. You know, I mean, he's not making a ton now anyway. He's a thumper. I don't want his personality to necessarily leave the building. Matt Sharping, I don't care. You know, whatever. Okay, if you're out there and we bring you to camp, great. If not, so what? I would like to bring back Ben Skoranek, though. He's a great special teamer. I think he's a little bit better receiver than people think, in that on game day, I don't care if he plays 10 to 12 snaps, even in a hopefully upgraded wide receiver room. I can live with him. He blocks. He's tough. I would like him to be a Steeler next year. I might even give him a 2-year deal if the numbers are right, for all those reasons. Cam Sutton, adios. This was a massively failed experiment. I don't think he can play anymore. He obviously has some off-the-field things. I would advise him, maybe he should try to be a safety, but I don't know that he can do that. He walks easily for me. Jaylen Warren is a restricted free agent, so what the Steelers will do and should do is they will slap a second-round tender on him. If some team comes a-calling, that will cost them a second-round pick to steal him away from you, and you still have the ability to match the deal. Second-round pick for a running back, you probably take anyway. So that works out great. It's not a lot of money. You draft one that's a little younger, obviously, and go from there. The last two guys on the list are Mike Williams and Russell Wilson. We're not talking quarterbacks today. But Mike Williams, I think he's my hardest one. You know, what would he cost? He doesn't play special teams. That's not great. He's flashed since basically leaving the Chargers. He's flashed. He has some good days going back to Chargers. He's injured a lot. I hope you guys don't think I'm saying he's a starter for the Steelers. I don't know if he's even higher than Austin and Roman Wilson on the depth chart. I don't know. Or do you get to camp and you drafted a receiver and signed a real receiver? Then having Williams makes trading Pickens easier, if that's something you truly want to do. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Latrobe, I guess is my bottom line. I mean, he's making a pretty good buck now. The Jets signed him to more than they should have. He will not get that on the open market. But if he was in camp, probably make the team. You go in with Pickens, a real free agent or a first-round pick, Williams, Skoranek, Austin, Roman Wilson. I like that he has size compared to Austin and Wilson. And he has a track record, and, you can throw him deep balls. So I wouldn't object to bringing him back. And again, that might make trading Pickens easier if that's something you really want to do come draft day. And I might even sign Wilson or Williams sooner than later. I'm not saying now. Hey, go test free agency. If someone loves you, good. Sign the deal, But if a couple weeks go by and you want to sign a team-friendly deal, $3 million maybe, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing something out there. You could convince me to bring him back to black and gold. And I mean, I think he would make the team, but you don't know. I'll take the extra receiver in this situation because it's been a deficiency. So I don't see any reason why he would object to that either. That's about the cards he has in his hands at this point, which isn't great, but that's how this works. So all in all, there aren't many guys here we talked about today that if they leave, the world stops spinning. Dan Moore, and even Landon Roberts and Skowronek and guys I like. They're not real expensive, and if they left, I could probably find someone really similar, for this equal money, if not cheaper. So I think they're in really good shape. They also have the ability to make a lot more cap space with some cuts and some restructures. We'll talk about that kind of stuff going forward, of course. So financially and in terms of what they have up for free agency, they're in pretty good shape. They absolutely are. All right, take care. And hey, that's kind of why you hired Omar to begin with. You hired a cap guy to get yourself in these kind of situations contractually. All right, take care.